this episode, the women talk about their favorite position to reach orgasm and tricks for reaching it faster.
What do you like? What works well? Like you said, missionary position.
Yeah, again, it's like it's just a standard. I think sometimes you can get lazy about, especially with the female orgasm that is so complex, I feel like with a partner anyway. It's when I know I can come this way. Like I love doing it in many different positions, but I know if like after he's come and maybe we're still doing it, it's been going on a while, all right, let's get going. I'll always get back into that position, and sometimes having a pillow underneath so I'm like a little bit elevated really helps. But just the old standard comfortable, I don't know, it's also the feeling of having weight on me. I really like nice. And especially if he has his hands underneath, like either lifting up my ass or like just underneath touching me. It just is just a very comfortable kind of like.
Where are your legs?
Sometimes up in the air, sometimes around him, like just like a bear hug around completely.
Well, it's very intimate too. Like it's very like personal.
So you're able to orgasm with a partner by just penis stimulation, not using your hand at all.
In a certain position, yes. Because if you can get, it's all like very physics related if it's like 45 degrees this way, but yeah, absolutely.
Well, I know that like I can come if someone's going down on me and has their hands in me. That it's like, boom, done and done. Love it.
Well, one thing that I guess part of the reason I was able to have an orgasm with a partner is because I was more comfortable with stimulating myself. And so, like, if I'm having one of those, like, sex is dragging on, like, I'm starting to think about things, I'm like, okay, it's time for, like,
shopping
behind. It's like, okay, I'm going to, like, manually stimulate myself while you're, like, having sex from behind, or just any position where I have room to put my hand. And I'm like, okay. Like surefire way.
On my back, it's really the only position I can come in.
See, there are lots of positions that I like to do because I like the way it feels, and I like, it's interesting and fun to like change it up. But I know that
gotta be on the back at the end of it all. Yeah.
I mean, once I've come on top, and that was nice. But I was like not prepared for it. It just happened. But most of the time, it's on the back.
On top is good.
I like being on top. Well, I can like oral sex as long as it isn't absolutely horrible to the point where you're like batting him away. I can almost always come from that. But yeah, I like from behind also, and especially if you get like a little bullet vibrator and you use that on your clit while you're having sex.
Oh yeah.
Pretty much the greatest thing of all time.
I used to only be able to have an orgasm if my legs were straight, which is really that's why I could.
Straight out or straight up?
No, straight out. And I think it's, again, because I used to masturbate so much as a kid for 10 years before I ever had sex that my legs were always kind of straight out, whether I was rubbing myself on something. So I kind of got so used to it that I could never bend them and have an orgasm. But I'm proud to say that within the last year and a half, now if they're, so they can be like, maybe one leg is straight and the other one is out, but that's why it was also so hard, because you can't really have legs straight and your hand there and have somebody also having sex with you and have an orgasm. Like, it was way too complicated. But now that the whole straight, or they can both be bent sometimes, so that's pretty exciting.
Good. I mean, I like pushing, with your
you
legs.
feel you kind of feel it all the way down to your toes. That wrapping around is really nice for right after you both come, and then you're just like in the afterglow moment of just being able to hold each other like that.
But you don't also have to put your hand in between. Because you can have orgasms from,
that's true.
So that's why it would be hard for me to wrap my legs around somebody. And
I've been able to fit my hand somehow. I don't know. I'm trying to think.
Really?
But another position that works really well is like if he's sitting up and I'm not completely up, like he's holding me up somehow. So there's definitely room for a hand.
Yeah, and I love doggy style, but I know I'm not going to come that way. But I like the feeling of it, especially if like you start out on your knees and then you can kind of collapse and like lay on the bed. Yeah. Stomach down, like I like the way it feels, but I know it's.
Yeah, I like standing up, being bent over, but it'll just never.
Yeah.
Or there is actually another way. If it's almost like a scissor position, but I'm still on my back, but he's kind of on his side, sort of between my legs, and one of my legs is over his hip. So, but it's like a still on my back. But there's two. Yes.
Cherry TV.